If the entire universe were compressed into a single pixel, where would humanity be? The answer is, we wouldn't exist. In that tiny point, there is no Earth, no history, and no you. Sounds desperate, doesn't it? But look at it from another angle. If we aren't even a speck of dust in that pixel, then the failures, the debts, and the embarrassments that keep you up at night, they never really happened. Today, we are going to do a deep spatial decluttering. We are pulling your perspective from your tiny bedroom and expanding it to the 93 billion light-year scale of the cosmos. You will find that when you realize how insignificant you are, you finally achieve true freedom. Let's start with what you know best. You are sitting in a chair right now, maybe in a room or on a crowded subway. If you ran toward the horizon as fast as you could, the world would feel vast. It takes our fastest aircraft 17 hours to cross the Pacific, yet light orbits the Earth in just 0.13 seconds. In our perception, Earth is grand. It is our only, solid, infinite home. But let's pull the scale back just a little, to our solar system. If the Earth were a 1 millimeter grain of sand, the Sun would be a watermelon, 11 centimeters in diameter. Doesn't sound too bad, right? But the distance between that watermelon and the grain of sand is a full 12 meters. Between them, aside from a few drifting particles, there is nothing but absolute, lethal void. In this proportion, our proudest space probes are like ants searching for a single grain of dust in a football field of darkness. And yet, this is only the beginning of the nightmare. Let's leave the solar system and look for the nearest star, Proxima Centauri. In our watermelon and sand scale, where is it? It's not in the next room, or even the next city. It's 3,000 kilometers away. That means if you place the Sun watermelon in Beijing, the nearest star would be in Moscow. In that 3,000-kilometer stretch, there is nothing. No atoms, no light, no sound. The universe is not made of matter. It is filled with emptiness. Matter is just an occasional glitch in this void. Now, let's skip over the nebulae, the black holes, and the galaxy clusters. We are moving to the limit. If you could stand outside the observable universe, though physically impossible, you would see a sphere 93 billion light-years across. Inside, it holds 2 trillion galaxies, each containing hundreds of billions of stars. Now, please, hold your breath. We are compressing this sphere, containing all the starlight, all of history, and everyone you have ever loved, down into a single pixel on your screen. In this point, Earth vanishes. The solar system vanishes. Even our Milky Way, with its 400 billion stars, shrinks to a vibration at the center of that pixel, smaller than what a microscope could ever reveal. If your screen seems a little dark right now, it's because you are staring at that pixel. And that is the only evidence we ever existed. Now please, stare at this pixel. You might naturally assume that since it represents the universe, it must be filled with starlight, planets, and dust. You're wrong. If we were to paint this pixel honestly, it shouldn't be white. It should be a deep, bottomless, pitch-black gray, because within this pixel, 95% of what exists is completely invisible to you. Scientists call it dark matter and dark energy. They don't emit light, they don't reflect light, and they don't even interact with ordinary matter. They are the canvas of this cosmic pixel, while everything we can see, every star, every galaxy, is nothing more than a tiny, incredibly thin, and arguably negligible chemical residue splashed across that vast, dark surface. Let's break down that remaining 5% of ordinary matter. Do you think stars are abundant? The Milky Way alone has 400 billion stars, and there are 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe. Sounds crowded, doesn't it? But if we were to take all the matter in the universe, every star, planet, and nebula, and scatter it uniformly through space, you would find that the average density is roughly 6 protons per cubic meter. This is emptier than the most perfect vacuum human beings can create in any lab on Earth. If the universe were a massive aquarium, there would be nothing in it but a tiny speck of dust, smaller than an atom, every 10,000 miles. In the cosmos, matter is not the norm. It is extreme, it is rare, and it is, quite literally, a zoning violation of the void. Even in those galaxies that look crowded, the emptiness is beyond imagination. If the Sun were a ping-pong ball, the nearest star would be 1,100 kilometers away. When 2 galaxies collide, it sounds like an epic, catastrophic event. But in reality, because the stars are so incredibly far apart, not a single star actually crashes into another. They are like 2 armies of ghosts passing through one another, never even brushing against the edge of a cloak. In this cosmic pixel, stars are not solid spheres. They are merely fireflies, blinking in the infinite darkness, destined to never see one another. And finally, let's look for life. In this one-pixel universe, 5% is matter. Of that 5%, 99.9% is locked up in stars, massive balls of plasma where life cannot survive. The remaining 0.1% makes up planets, asteroids, and cosmic dust. And within that tiny 0.1% of leftovers, only a handful of rocky planets like Earth possess the right temperature and liquid water. Do you see it now? Humanity is not the center of the universe. We are not even the primary form of matter. We are an incredibly fragile layer of organic impurity, only a few molecules thick, sitting on top of a 0.1% remnant within a 5% sliver of the whole. We are the dust that somehow learned to dream. If the universe were a book of 10,000 pages, the description of you wouldn't even be enough to fill the space of a single atom. Now, let's compress the 13.8 billion-year lifespan of the universe into the 24 hours of a single human day. In this marathon of time, every second represents 160,000 years, and every minute accounts for 9.6 million years. At 0 o'clock midnight, the Big Bang occurs. Time and space are born. By 4 a.m., the Milky Way begins to coalesce from the chaos. At 4 p.m., 2/3 of the way through the day, the Sun and the Earth finally make a quiet, unnoticed appearance in a remote corner of the cosmos. By 10:24 p.m., the first signs of life appear on Earth, though they are nothing more than single-celled organisms breathing in the crevices of rocks. Time flows on for another hour, until 11:59:58 p.m., the final 2 seconds before the day ends. Modern humans finally emerge on the savannas of Africa. Let's break down these final 2 seconds. In the final 0.1 seconds, humanity learns to farm and builds the first cities. In the last 0.02 seconds, the pyramids rise from the sand. In the last 0.01 seconds, Jesus is born and the Silk Road begins. And the few decades of life you experience, all the pain, the glory, your first kiss, and those sleepless nights you've endured, occupy only the final 0.00005 seconds. This isn't even a blink. It is the time it takes for a ray of light to pass through an atomic nucleus. If you were to sneeze in front of this cosmic clock, you would miss the entire history of human civilization. You might think, since we are at the very end of the 24 hours, that we represent the result of it all? No, this is merely the first day of the universe. According to the predictions of physicists, the universe will continue to expand. Stars will exhaust their nuclear fuel, black holes will evaporate. Eventually, even protons will decay. If you compare the entire lifespan of the universe to all the grains of sand on Earth, the span of human civilization wouldn't even fill a single grain. We are not standing at the end of history. We are just a spark that flickers for a moment during the universe's brief, luminous phase. In this long, long movie, we haven't even had time to read the opening credits before the film is over. On this scale of time, concepts like being together forever or leaving a legacy sound like an absurd joke. That tiny bit of chemical impurity within the cosmic pixel is not only insignificant in space, it is less than an instant in time. But don't rush to feel empty. Because in the next chapter, we are going to reach the most shocking reversal of this experiment. We are going to discuss, why is it that in such a vast, empty, and cold single pixel, there could ever emerge a monster like you, capable of thinking about all of this? Now, let us return to that one-pixel universe. We now know that you are but a fleeting flash within the final 2 seconds of a 24-hour day, buried in 0.1% of impurities within that 5% sliver of matter. But this is exactly where it gets insane. In this pixel, filled with lethal radiation, absolute zero, and hundreds of millions of light-years of void, the laws of physics, the strength of gravity, the force of the strong nuclear interaction, even the rate of the universe's expansion, are tuned to such perfection. If they were to shift by just 0.00000000001%, atoms could not form. Stars would never ignite. Carbon would never be born. You are not just surviving in the universe. You are the result of the universe being precisely calculated. For you to be holding this phone and reading these words right now, the universe spent 13.8 billion years running a high-stakes, infinitesimal probability experiment. You are not an impurity. You are the only observing instrument capable of thought that this entire experiment has produced. The astronomer Carl Sagan once said, "We are made of star stuff." This is not just a romantic metaphor. The carbon atoms in your left hand may have come from a red giant that exploded 10 billion years ago. The iron atoms in your right hand may have come from a supernova that spanned galaxies. These fragments of dead stars drifted for billions of years, finally converging on Earth to piece together your bones, your blood, and the neurons in your brain. When you look up at the starry sky, it is actually a part of the universe observing its own self. After an eternity of silence and void, that one-pixel universe has finally opened its eyes through yours. You are the consciousness of this pixel. You are the only glimmer of light in the infinite nothingness. This insignificance is, in fact, a liberation. Since we are infinitesimal in space and fleeting in time, why remain trapped by such small anxieties? That failed speech you worry about, the person who broke your heart, or your confusion about the future, on the scale of this one pixel, do they really matter? The universe doesn't care if you are rich. It doesn't care if you are successful. It only cares that you exist. Because in a universe that is 95% darkness, being alive is the ultimate, highest privilege. You don't need to go searching for the meaning of life. Because you are standing here, observing this pixel, you are the meaning itself. Now please, look at that one-pixel universe once more. It is so small, yet it holds all of your love and all of your pain. It is so empty, yet it birthed you. Do not fear the void, for it has granted you infinite freedom. Go love, go be curious, and in these fleeting 2 seconds, squander your life with wild abandon. After all, you are the only one in this one-pixel universe capable of painting it with color. Welcome to reality. It may be empty here, but because you are in it, it is nothing short of miraculous.